Hey guys, how's it going this morning? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, or good evening. Got some coffee this morning, and we are ready to jump back into some Krastorio 2 space exploration. We left off working on oil, so that is going to be our goal today, is getting some oil done. And for that, well, we've already got our some of our refineries. And I think we're just going to start with 3. We'll definitely expand this later. But it should be a pretty decent start. Definitely produce enough for us for the time being. We're not going to need a ton at the moment. Let us grab some pipe. We're going to need that for sure. And I mean, we might as well grab it all, right? All right. And what else we're going to need? We're also going to need, where is it? Where's all of our, oh, here's our oil stuff. Okay, so we're going to need this. And then we were going to make plastic bars, which take coal. We don't really have a whole lot of coal right now. So we'll probably end up using this. And we'll also probably do, we could probably belt this. This isn't that far. We already belted this iron. I'm sure we can belt this too. So we'll probably belt this over for some plastic. And then we need sulfur, which will have water and petroleum gas, which we'll already have both of those. We probably won't be making explosives right away. And sulfuric acid we're going to need for making our chemical tech cards. So we got to make that as well, and that is just iron plates, sulfur, and water. So there's not a whole lot of, oh, we've got some bigger tanks now too, which we'll go over some of the tank stuff as well, you know, making sure that our ratios stay correct for oil. But I know that oil, and I've heard this from a lot of different people in the past, oil can be one of the very daunting tasks that people have to take on in Factorio. And I can understand that, you know, it's these, you know, you're just dealing with belts and inserters and things like that. And when you're dealing with oil, it is fluids, but then also some solids. And so I can understand how, you know, it's a little bit nerve-wracking maybe, or can be kind of hard to get started. But once you get it started, it really is not that bad at all. So we're gonna throw these down here. And, oh, whoops, this is not what we want. We need to flip these around. Okay. So we gotta go to oil. Okay, there's the oil that we need, and then the other thing that we need is water. So we'll get these ready for getting water, and then make some of these, an offshore pump, and this will be a nice little easy pipe over. Actually, what we'll probably do is run a pipe down from our refineries first, so that we have a good idea of where the water is going to be needed. And one thing that you can do early on with oil is planning. Planning can be very key with oil because the pipes themselves can get super easy to be easily mixed up. And you know, you can't have like oil here and then like water also on the same in the same lane, if you will. It doesn't work like that. Just like with belts, you know. I mean, you can do belt weaving, but for the most part, you have like one belt, and if you you can't really put another belt in the same area. So, you know, you kind of have to plan for oil the same way that you would plan for. We'll make sure we come down here. The same way that you would plan for anything else. And I think that seems. We'll go down one more. Okay, there we go. And then we'll bring this over here. then this looks perfect. We'll be able to power it with a couple different wind, oops. Where's our wind turbines? Okay. All right, and we got water. So we got water over there. We got the oil all hooked up to our refineries. And there we go. Boom. All right, so we're making just petroleum gas right now. Later we'll get advanced refining. But, so one of the things that you do want to keep in mind is that later on you will get the advanced oil refining, which if you don't, again, plan for this, you'll kind of be out of room and you'll be needing to add more machines. So if we look up, actually we can probably find it here. Here it is, advanced oil processing. So you can see here that the advanced oil processing, you also add 20 heavy oil and 70 light oil, and then you can crack heavy oil with water down to light oil, and you can crack light oil with water down to petroleum. And you could also do this kind of crude oil processing as well. So we don't have to build out these machines at the moment. I'm gonna go, I don't want to craft all that, but luckily we have a bunch of electric motors right here, which we can just snatch. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put down some pipes for our petroleum. Okay. And I think that we're actually gonna, yeah, I think that we're gonna bring it down here. And we'll do our processing kind of over here. I'm not sure about this rare metals deposit. There's another really big rare metals deposit over there. So if we build over this, you know, I'm not that worried about it. We'll have plenty later on. I mean, this is way more raw metals than you'll ever need. So I don't mind building over this. So we're gonna put our processing right here for our oil. And so here's what we're gonna do. So you can see this lane right here, if you will, this line. This is gonna be for our petroleum. And then here, we're gonna prepare for heavy and light oil, because they will come out over here. And so this will be, I don't remember which one's in the middle, but that one will be whichever one comes in the middle. I think it's light oil. And then this one will be heavy oil, right? So that way we have some predefined lanes, like these each are going to be their own. And then we're going to have, what we'll probably do too. Actually, do I like this? I don't know if I like this. I think I want to stagger them a bit more. Like this. That way we can put down a large storage tank for each of them. And we'll be able to fill in, you know, other fluids here. But giving them a predefined lane, basically, if you will, means that later on we'll be able to keep them separated very easily and not have to do a ton of belt spaghetti. Or not belt spaghetti, pipe spaghetti. But one of the other things is we're going to have a bunch of different fluids. So we're going to leave probably like this much room right here between where we're starting like our lanes of fluids and where we're starting our machines. Because we don't want to run out of room and be like, shoot, now I have to get another fluid in here and there's literally no room for it. All right, so let's put down our... This doesn't rotate. Interesting. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure out these later on, but this will be good for now. So we've got a large storage tank now. We're gonna grab some pumps. And then this is going to be plastic here. And like I said, we're going to belt over from the coal patch over here. We're going to belt over that coal for this. Okay. All right, so that'll be making plastic here pretty soon, and we can just throw some. Check it out, plastic. Boom, that easy. So I mean, we'll be able to add more refineries down here later, and we'll be able to even add more over here if needed. And you do end up needing quite a lot of refineries. All right, so that's that. We will, I think, do this actually. Basically, one of the things that you also want to do is have control systems for your fluids. So basically this, we're not going to control anything right now, but later on with heavy and light oils, you know, you're going to have to crack those down to petroleum, but then you're also going to want to use them for other recipes. So you want to always keep like a little bit of reserve for the other recipes. And so we'll use pumps as control variables, or controllers, I guess, for those variables. But we don't have to worry about that now. But, you know, because before we get there, we have to make our chemical tech cards, which we might be able to do pretty quickly. What all is it again? Advanced circuits, which is electronic components. Oh yeah, so maybe not. We still got to make silicon, which, I mean, it's not a hard process, but it'll take some time setting it up because we got to make quartz first, and then we got to make the silicon after that, and all machines for that. But okay, so I think we'll focus on getting some plastic onto our belt. We love, you know, a belt of plastic right over here. And for that, well, first let's grab a bunch of belt from our little factory over here. And also some miners. Undergrounds, belts, perfect. And, okay, so we got 500 belts, so that'll be plenty. Oh, and, you know, one other thing I do need to grab is power poles. Alright, and power poles. Anything else that I'm just forgetting? I think we're good. Okay. A strong box. This must be new. I don't think I've used those before. I'll check those out here soon. Okay, so where's our coal? It's right over there. Oh my gosh, it is actually kind of hard to see this coal. I did not notice it. The only way that I knew it was there was the minimap, actually. Might be a little, because it's night, might be a little bit easier for you to see than me. My screen's pretty dark, but that coal blends into the ground pretty well. Okay. Bunch of stones on top. Okay. So let's throw down some miners. And we probably will not need all of these miners just for plastic. I mean, it's possible, but it's unlikely. So what we'll probably end up doing is splitting it off and sending some of it to the main bus, or even making fuel from it. Okay. Oops. Okay. All right, that's our coal. And let's try not to get run over by the train, which is probably coming back here soon. There it is. All right, and this is where we could split it. And this is, you know, I can understand why, you know, some people, like I said earlier, why some people find fluids a bit daunting, is doing stuff like this, where you've got, you know, a solid going in with a fluid, and then you're getting another solid out. Makes sense. Okay. All right, and we'll deal with the coal belt in a minute, but we've got, and we can do this too. All right, and we've got a nice little plastic belt. And we're almost out of these researches, so let's continue going with them. I do like mining productivity. What else do we have that we can still research? We can do all the modules, which are super simple. And modules are also changed in Krastorio and space exploration. I believe it's space exploration that changes it, but I can't remember. I don't know, it's hard to tell. But anyways, the productivity, you know, speed modules and efficiency modules, they are way cheaper than they are in the base game. And they also go further. So I think they go up to level 9, which is insane. So the level 9 ones are incredibly expensive, like way more expensive than productivity level 3s in the base game. But they're super easy to make. Because of how cheap they are. So you can start using them pretty early, which is really nice. So let's run this plastic up to the main bus. We might have to move the belt later, but such is life. Okay, there we go. And then we're gonna try and get it in here. Might be a little bit tricky. There's a lot of stuff in here. But we can do this, right? Oh, not quite long enough. That's very unfortunate. All right, that works. So we'll do that. You know, and later we're going to have to fit, I mean, right now we're producing a very small amount of copper and iron. I am going to want to get a bunch of lanes of copper and iron in here, which, with how things are going, might be more difficult than it looks. So we may end up actually shifting things up, like making a bunch of copper and iron smelters up here, and then we can do like all of the refining kind of over here and feeding into the smelters, and then bringing those down. I'm not sure how we'll get them down to these lanes. We might move the lanes like to this set or whatever, but yeah, such is life. We'll cross, again, these are all things that we'll cross those bridges when we get there. You know, it's not something that we don't need to figure out all of our problems and solve them all, you know, at the very beginning of the game. I'm a software developer, and one of the things that can be very daunting about software is you think of the whole problem, like everything that you need to do, and you get overwhelmed. You're like, shoot, we have to do this and this and this and this and this, and how are we ever going to do it all and fit it all together? And when it comes down to it, what really happens is you just solve one problem at a time. And when you solve one problem at a time, you're not focused on the whole issue. And when you're not focused on the whole issue, I guess I never finished that, huh? When you're not focused on the whole issue, you don't become overwhelmed by it anymore. You're like, oh, this is all I have to do. And then before you know it, you've got this huge product that have solved all the problems, but you didn't have to solve them all, right away. You had to. It took, weeks or months to solve them all, but you weren't focusing on them all. You were only focusing on the one problem that you had to work on at the moment. That was it. So that's kind of the approach that I try and take with Krastorio or any of the games that I play is, solve one problem and then move on and solve another and just keep going. And that's what I enjoy about it too. Okay, so speaking of problems, I've been running around aimlessly. And so I think that we are going to try and get the electronic components done next. Which means that we have silicon. We don't have glass, so we're going to have to smelt some glass too, and we're going to have to do that on a bit of a larger scale than we've done in the past, which is fine, and I believe that we'll need glass for other things like buildings and things like that, so it's fine, and eventually we'll just add glass to our logistic network. That way we can use that for all of our other needs. So kind of got to clear this tree patch down here that's kind of huge, which is where we're gonna do our next build, so that's super unfortunate. So I think I might leave it there. We got our processing done. We don't have a lot yet, but we don't need a lot right now. We're not even using any of the plastic yet. When we start using the plastic more, we'll make more buildings, we'll make more refineries, we'll make more chemical plants until we have enough. We got our coal, which is good. And yeah, now we're set up for success when it comes to these chemical tech cards. Making sulfur and sulfuric acid is going to be super easy from where we're at now. But before we do that stuff, to work on our chemical tech card, we need to get our advanced circuits done. So we're going to have to make more electronic circuits for sure. This is the only production we have, which is right here, which is definitely not enough. So we're going to have to increase that. Looks like we're also going to have to increase our copper output because this is pretty poor. So there's a lot of problems that we need to solve still. So I think I'm going to leave it there, though. Thank you guys for coming out and joining. I have been streaming every weekday morning, right around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So if you guys would want to come by again, that'd be awesome. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the other side. Have a good one.